Hey, what is happening, Bulls and Bears? It's Friday, August 18th, 2023. Back with another dose of economic reality. I hope no one out there is overdosing from all these doses of economic reality. Let's go ahead and get into the news here. Let's start here with the stock market. And we're going to play some clips here in a few minutes of some very discouraged individuals, some very discouraged people regarding the economy, the cost of living, their incomes not keeping up, having to live at home with their parents, etc. It's a pretty sad state out there for a lot of people. If you play your cards right, you can benefit from this environment. If you have cash on the side, you can actually get a pretty good return on your cash right now. Is it keeping up with the cost of living? Well, you let me know. Well, let's start right here with the markets here, the stock market. And we see all major indexes actually in the red for the week. We'll go back to Monday, August 14th. This is the S&P 500 right here. But let's take a look at these other indexes here. And here we're looking at the Dow Jones in the red also for the week. So is the tide starting to turn? Our investors and the big money that makes up most of the ownership of the stock market, are they finally starting to realize that this entire economy is one big scam that's been propped up on easy money, low interest rates, people borrowing money, taking on record levels of debt, and that gets chalked up as economic growth. So it could fool a lot of people for a long time, but it can't last forever. I think we're getting to a point where we're going to have to start sending out more stimulus checks or bring on more UBI type of thing, universal basic income to keep people from slipping into poverty. And we'll also bring up the NASDAQ here in the red for the week, just like all of the major indexes. Here we go. Russell 2000 stocks across the board down for the week. Now, people were thinking that we're going to zoom to all-time highs in the stock market. Could they do that? Absolutely. With the click of a mouse, they could bring these markets back up to all-time highs. We're not seeing that. We're seeing what looks like a beginning of a sell-off. Look at all the economic indicators out there that are very, very negative. And we have to look at the consumer. We always have to go back to the source of what's been chalked up as economic growth, and that's the U.S. consumer. And for the most part, the U.S. consumer is in big, big trouble. $1 trillion plus credit card debt, interest rates that are high and only going higher as far as we can see, unless something crazy happens in the world to justify cutting rates. But right now, with the back up against the wall there of the central banks, they're going to be very unlikely to cut rates unless something really, crazy happens that brings down the world economy. And I think most of us know that the economy historically runs in boom bust cycles, right? They create the boom, ultra low interest rates, easy money. Look at back the last 12 years, we had rock bottom interest rates, super easy money. Banks could loan out money without having any in reserves. Absolutely wild, unleashed monetary policy. It's never been done before. And that's why we see this crazy cost of living, housing prices, bubbles that are huge, and they're not really bursting that quickly, if at all. But let's talk about the housing market. I want to show you guys a video of some tiny homes. Now, to me, they look small. Maybe it's not the classic definition of a tiny home. Maybe it's not small enough, but they look pretty small, cookie cutter homes. And I want to show you this video. And the person that put this video out is saying these homes are going for $100,000. To me, it's laughable. And you're going to hear some laughter out of this video, actually. Here, let me bring this up here. All right, so here it is. This is a housing development in San Antonio, Texas. And supposedly these things are selling for, this is a new development, these things are selling for $100,000. And I do apologize in advance. I think there might be some cursing. I can't remember if I went in and edited this or not, or if it was pre-edited. So if there's little ones in the room, people that you don't want to hear, this, maybe cover their ears here and take a look and listen.
That's $100,000, right? Are you telling me that these things are $100,000? What the kidding me? You've got to be kidding.
All right, let's go back here. Let's just take a look at one of these. $100,000, folks. No garage, And it looks like some of them are bigger than others. We see these here on the left. We see slightly bigger homes with a second story there after those smaller homes. And they don't really break down, if they're all $100,000, or maybe that one's a little bit cheaper. Maybe these are 100,000, or maybe these are 100,000 and those are more expensive. Either way, I mean, it doesn't matter that much. It's all just insane. And you hear the guy laughing. I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny to a lot of people that are stuck living at home, that can't afford their first house. People with college degrees, they went out and got tons of student loan debt to participate in the American dream, but they can't participate. A lot of them, anyways, because of these housing prices. Right? Imagine going to school for 4 years and ending up in a house like this. Can't really raise a family. Your car is going to be parked outside. So let's hear from some other kind of discouraged individuals here, not to focus on the negative, but this is how a lot of people are feeling. And when you look at the polls and how many people feel good about the economy, most don't. So it's not just me focusing on the negative. I'm focusing on reality, what I think is economic reality, and how most people feel, in this environment here. All right, next, we're going to listen to someone here from Canada. And in some cases, Canada was even crazier than the US, with home prices up even more compared to incomes up in Canada. This person is very emotional, so don't try not to laugh at them. Well, they can't hear you, so I guess if you laugh, it's okay. But if you see her in real life, if you see anyone doing this in real life, someone this distressed, please don't laugh at them. Let's go ahead and play this here.
I want to know how the hell people in Canada are even living. I generally consider myself a positive person. I'm resourceful, but some stuff happened around the property, and while I know I'll never truly be homeless, I have family to live with, and
That's a good point. A lot of people that normally would be homeless are only able to not be homeless because of family. So many people rely on family.
have options. I'm luckier than a lot of other people, but how the hell is anyone existing in Canada? I feel trapped, and I just got a good job. I started in September, but even with that job, it pays less than 40 grand a year, and it's a job that requires education, and even on that job, I still can't do shit. I can't buy anything. I can't afford the rent these days.
40 grand, can't even afford rent. I mean, maybe if you get a few roommates, but that's how most people are having to struggle right now.
I'm just feeling so much despair, and I know I'm normally really, really positive, but I'm just how is everyone else, and are you okay? Because the answer is probably no. And I know I'm lucky. I don't have kids. I have good family that will support me, but I feel like I can't stay here, but I can't move anywhere else, because anywhere else.
Right. She can't stay there, but where can she go? I always talk about that here in this channel. Where are you going to go? When you find a cheaper place, a lot of things, aren't as good as where you moved from, right? The grass isn't always greener. I talked about moving to Texas for a long time. I've got family. This person here that's obviously very upset and emotionally distressed, she made the point that she doesn't have kids. What are people doing that have families right now? If I wouldn't have moved to San Diego back when I moved here, I don't know if I would still be here. I'd probably be living in a van down by the river. I probably wouldn't even have gotten into a relationship and started a family because, back when I moved here back in 2000, things were a lot more affordable. And, I got my foot in my door very early. But people that are just graduating now with all this debt, the cost of living right now, I can see why, especially a lot of the younger people are getting very emotional and distressed here. Next, let's hear from some more distressed young people, shall we? And I'm not making fun of these people at all. This is, very concerning to me. I have kids. Are my kids going to be like these people here, when they grow up and try to go live on their own? So I'm very concerned, about the, especially the young people in this country. I'm concerned about everyone, but especially the young people. And this is a compilation. It's got music in the background and stuff like that. I don't know if they're trying to make fun of these people, but that's definitely, I'm not trying to do that. So take a listen to this here and look at some of the information here.
I have a question. How are we affording life right now?
2020, putting $100 worth of groceries. 2023, this person says, being alive is kind of out of my price range right now. I'm going to pause it here. This person says, me wondering how I'm even supposed to survive off my $15 an hour job when rent alone is almost $1,000 a month, and that's my entire paycheck. Well, how you survive is, like everybody else, you run up debt. And some people out there may say, just stop going to the amusement parks, stop going to the clubs. That's a practical solution, but how many people are actually going to do that, especially when you see all the other people that aren't afraid to take on debt? They're having all the fun. They're taking vacations. They're running up their credit card. They're going to clubs. They're eating at fancy restaurants. So you're sitting there trying to not go into debt, but then you're the lame one because you're stuck at home, probably with your head on the pillow like this person, and everybody else that's willing to go into debt and swipe their credit cards for anything. They're taking the vacations. They're at the amusement park. They're at the baseball games. They're whatever. Pick your thing. They're on the shopping trip. They're traveling. They're doing the fun stuff, right? To me, that's how it seems. The people that I know that have the most fun have a lot of debt, unfortunately. And some of them that I know are under the mindset of run up debt, file bankruptcy, 10 years later, do it again, rinse and repeat, for several different decades. And you've lived a pretty fun life, and probably a lot more fun of a life versus someone that just sits there and, is unwilling to go into debt, right? So it's almost like debt is the option unless you want to be miserable and not do anything. Now, I think there's a lot of other things you can do to still have fun while not spending money. I love going to the park. I love fitness. I would rather go for a jog any day than go to an amusement park. Of course, my kids, wouldn't let me do that. I'd have to do fun stuff every once in a while for them. But myself, I could get by just fine and not have to go out and spend a bunch of money and travel. Shall we continue?
It's to a point where people can't live. This amounted to $100. Like, this isn't even barely anything to feed me for a couple days.
You're not budgeting your money. Oh, you're
Barely.
All right, $100. Wow, he must be shopping at some very expensive places. Eggs, what's that, an 18 count or is that a dozen? I can't tell. Looks like some kefir. How do you say it? Kefir. Some orange juice, $100. I mean, I know food is expensive, but I think he might be exaggerating a little bit. Not to take anything away from the sorrows and the distress here. Maybe that does cost $100. I guess it depends on where you shop. Let's listen to some other people here.
Anything to feed me for a couple days.
You're not budgeting your money. Oh, you're not doing this. Oh, you're buying coffee. And it's like, no, I'm literally not doing any of those things.
I live paycheck to paycheck every week because I'm trying to pay every bill that the world is throwing at me right now.
And the government's response to that?
To paycheck every week.
By the way, 61%, that was just one survey. I've seen some as high as 73% saying they're living paycheck to paycheck, but it depends on what the criteria is. But the point is, it's between like 60 and 70 something percent. It's closer to 70 in my opinion.
Because I'm trying to pay every bill that the world is throwing at me right now.
And the government's response to that is, oh, hey, everybody, aliens are real. We don't give about aliens. We're trying to afford a roof over our heads. I refuse to continue living my entire life like this. I'm not going to struggle my entire life.
I'm just really tired of not being able to do the things that I want.
Prices on everything are up, from food, gas, rent. Instead of $60 to fill up your gas tank, it's $140. Instead of 99 cents for eggs, it's $3. Rent's going from $3,000 to $5,000. All that shit adds up, and wages aren't going up fast enough.
Wages have gone nowhere. So what did most of us have to do, myself included, with the extra $400 a month I was spending on gas? I had to use my credit cards. Even with 3 jobs now, I'm not even going to make a dent on those credit card bills. I seriously want to know what the end game is, because soon we're not going to have any money for anything anymore.
So why the f are we working so hard to make money for other people to use and steal our income just for us to never see it?
Wow, some angry people there, some sad people. The answer to his question, why are people working for other people, making them rich? Because that's a lot of times the only option you have is working for somebody else. Not everybody's an entrepreneur. Not everybody can start a business. Starting a business is very expensive, very time consuming. A lot of people go out and get these degrees, and they still don't know how to start their own business. They don't know how to be. They don't know how to be the word entrepreneur. I keep wanting to say that word, self-starter. They don't know how to be a self-starter. It's almost like the college system was designed to teach people how to work for somebody else. I mean, to me, that's what it seems like here. I mean, let me know what you think about it here. But let's just finish here. There's a few more, maybe a minute or so left here.
I don't know what to do anymore. I don't. I just don't understand. At one point, I thought I had some sort of a purpose.
I'm working just to basically pay bills, just to survive.
All right, so just a few examples of how I think millions of people are probably feeling. And people are asking the question, what's the point? What's the purpose? Am I just working, paying bills, and I'm back where I started again? I don't have any savings. I'm not saving up money. You might put savings away in your 401k, which you don't get to touch for many, many decades from the time when you start putting it in. And if you try to take it out, you get a penalty. You have to pay a big tax penalty on it. Uncle Sam's going to be tapping you on the shoulder for that. And in other cases, you can't even take it out. Even an emergency loan is hard to get. I've been hearing from a few people that have tried to get emergency loans out of their 401k. So is it your 401k? Is it even your money? Anyways, the point is people are struggling. The cost of living is really taking an emotional toll on a lot of people, right? So if you're someone, and I have to remind people of this every now and then, maybe every week or two, I mention this. If you're someone that's saving up money and not going deeper in debt every month, at the end of the month, you actually put money away, your savings is growing, and you either have your debt paid off or you're paying down your debt. Both of those positions are pretty good compared to the position that a lot of people are in right now, right? So that's what we want to focus on here. We try to keep the vision on this channel to stay ahead of the curve, invest while you can. I think people that are stacking silver are going to be heavily, heavily rewarded once this monetary system switches over to a more fair system. What I think is going to be a more fair system, and that's where money has to be backed by something. You can't just click a mouse and create trillions of dollars, because that's causing this financial pain. That's causing the cost of living. That's causing the inflation. Now, there's a lot of people out there that think it's just a matter of time. Bubbles always pop, booms always go bust. And that's true if you look back over several decades. But what about when bubbles don't burst? What about when there is hyperinflation? Look at countries like Zimbabwe, Venezuela, and a lot of other countries right now, Argentina, Lebanon. I can go on and on. Countries that are suffering under, if not hyperinflation, just massive, massive inflation, even worse than what we're seeing here in the US and Canada, right? What if the bubble doesn't burst? What if they throw so much money at this that we never see the cost of living come down? We never see deflation. All we see is slower inflation, right? Which is not good at all. Even though when the news talks about that, the business channels are saying it's great. Inflation has slowed down, even though prices are still going up higher. People are already in debt, but they're saying prices going up higher is a good thing because they're going up more slowly. Most of you know this. We need a massive correction. We need price discovery. We need deflation. We need real money to come back into the monetary system. That would fix all this. Until then, we have to try to look for ways to keep our head above water. So how are you doing? Are you working multiple jobs? Are you doing side hustles? I'm doing side hustles. I've got things that I put out, music that I put out. Of course, this channel helps out a little bit. It's a small income. Still working a regular job on top of investing. And I create things to sell online, like t-shirts and stuff, like designs and logos. The thing about it is I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of extra things. And when I look up at the end of the day, it's already like 12:30 at night, and I'm trying to finish up some stuff, and then I'm tired the next day because I'm trying to do too much stuff. Let me know if you're there. If you're there like me, are you there like a lot of these people? I'm not in tears because I'm doing okay right now compared to I think most people, and I have a 6-month living expenses put away, so I feel pretty good about that. But I know things can change in a hurry. A job loss, a medical situation, a major car repair, things can happen to throw even the most well budgeted people off track, so to speak. So what do you think about what these people said? What do you think about the beginning of the video? Stock market negative for the week, all the indexes. Is this the beginning of the downturn that we've been talking about here for so long? Folks, people have a lot of debt, and where does it go from here? You let me know down in the comments. We'll talk to everybody very soon, maybe tomorrow. Thanks everybody for being here. Keep stacking. Big love. Bye for now. Peace.